that was almost going to be a really good blooper. That was going to be a hell of a blooper right there.
Good save.
Thank you very much. First of all, we analyze the data. Number two, we create a customized dashboard for your business. So in other words, we create a customized brain for your business depending on what all the systems are, right? And this is all the different data sets we're talking about. And then number three, and here's where the magic happens. At MBA Chartered Professional Accountants, we have three core beliefs. One, we believe that business owners are the most important people on the planet. Two, we believe that the traditional accounting firm business model is flawed and fails to serve you. And three, we believe the MBA Way gives you what you truly want and deserve, resources and advice that helps you grow your business and your life. This is the MBA Way podcast. Hey everyone, welcome to the MBA Way podcast. I'm your host, Erik Solbakken, and today I am really excited to introduce you to a good friend of mine, a business colleague, and really a thought leader in the space when it comes to business. It is Steve Wilkinghoff. He is a CPA business intelligence expert and author of the book Found Money: Simple Strategies for Uncovering Hidden Profit and Cash Flow in Your Business. Check that out, Steve. I was already tripping over my words here. And by the way, for those of you who are deep into business thought leaders, Michael Gerber wrote the foreword to that book. So Steve is not he's not just fresh off the ship, shall we say. He's well known. And the wonderful thing that I really want to share with the listeners here is that we have an incredibly new, powerful service that we're offering at MBA CPA firm. It's called Profit Advisory, and it's something that Steve and I put together. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But without further ado, my good friend, Steve Wilkinghoff. Hey, Steve, how's it going?
Hey, Erik. Great, man. As always, I love hearing you talk. I could hear you talk, listen to you talk forever, man.
Yeah, I haven't put on my announcer voice, but wait, there's more. If you order right now, you get this great Ginsu knife set and paring knife for $19.95.
Now how much would you pay?
Yeah, how much would you pay? At least I'm not going into the heavy metal script. See, here's the other thing for the listener. Like Steve and I both really love our heavy metal. Like we're both heavy metal fanatics. And so sometimes when we're having our meetings and conversations, it starts with a good heavy metal scream or guar sound at the beginning. We're gonna save you all from this one. So anyways, Steve, thank you for being on the podcast. This one should be the first podcast that we're going to launch for the MBA Way. I'm really excited about this because I'm really looking forward to getting as much resources and valuable information into the hands of the business owners out there across Canada. This is, specifically for them. And that's why I'm so excited about letting people know about Profit Advisory and what we're going to do at MBA.
Awesome.
And what you and I've done to get to that. But to start it all off, okay?
Yeah.
I'd like for you and me to have a conversation. I want to find out a little bit more about your background. Let's let the listener and the watchers hear and see a little bit more about your background. So tell me a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah. So I started out life as a chartered accountant back in the day when we called ourselves chartered accountants, and really always loved business, loved analyzing financials, which is why I went into accounting. Not that I necessarily loved auditing or traditional accounting. And got my designation, opened a practice with 0 clients July 1st, and started knocking on doors, cold calling. All my buddies told me it was ridiculous. No one starts a firm that way. It was just a business. So I cold called, knocked on doors, and built the practice up to the point where it grew over 5 years and actually merged into one of the national firms as a partner. And through all that, my focus was always on helping clients analyze their financials. That's why the practice grew. That's why I merged it in with a national firm. The idea was we were going to build a practice around that, but it didn't quite work out because the firm had good ideas, but it didn't work out. I was still supposed to be a mainline partner. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go do what I want to do. I demerged, started at the time I called it contract CFO work because we didn't call it business analytics or business intelligence back then, 13 years ago. And thought I'm going to start doing what I do and putting what I think about businesses and how they should analyze their numbers out there to the world. wrote a book originally just as a marketing piece. And that is the book that is Found Money. And Michael Gerber ended up getting a copy, getting a hold of it. And I still remember our first conversation. He's like, no one's actually teaching it the way you think about analyzing financials and looking for profit opportunities in companies. And he had the E-Myth Worldwide at the time. And he said, 95% of the companies we deal with don't even have this figured out. He said, so I'll actually offer to write you the foreword for this book because I believe in it so much. And I'll introduce you to Wiley, the publisher in New York, who picked up the book. And that is how Found Money, the book, came to be published. And really the whole reason behind the book is, in any business, there's so many overlooked profit opportunities. And this is where you and I connect. I know all the time the way we think about, whether it's in the customers, whether it's in the products and services, the operations, any part of the company, there's so many opportunities to grow the business and make more profit without, yes, getting new customers is great, but there's so many things we can do just inside the company. And I did that. And so since the book came out 13 years ago, I've been doing that. And then you and I met. And of course, your genius brain took a look at some of the stuff I was doing and said, well,
Yeah. Just hold on. I just don't want to. I don't want to rush. We're rushing right to the end of the story here. I don't want to just back up for a second. Just hold off for a second. It's like we're like playing the music here, and it's like you're rushing to the end. And
I go for it.
I want to back up for a second here. I want to go back to the fact that you started your own firm, but then you joined one of the national firms. Mm-hmm. And the thing I just want to highlight here is you said the national firm did not see what you really wanted to build, which was showing business owners how to actually make more profit. Now, is that the most insane thing? And for we understand this because the national firms have a national firm mentality, but they don't. Like, when you think about it, like what business owner would not want to know how to make more money? I mean, I'm sorry. It's
like business oxygen, right? What business owner doesn't want to make more money?
Which is we call it, it's the one problem that solves 1,000 problems, right? And it's the reason why you start a business is it has to have profit to run, to pay you, to grow your wealth. But if you could find a way to improve that profit, that's like the lifeblood. And the national firm was just like, well, no, Steve, I don't think we really like that.
In fact,
holy shit.
In fact, it wasn't just that. Not only did they not want to talk about it, they said, oh, and by the way, because you're doing this and not paying attention to your traditional accounting, we're actually going to grind you on your partner allocation and penalize you for doing this.
Oh, God, it drives me crazy.
But all things work out. That's when I left. I'm like, okay, I see the writing on the wall. We are not thinking similarly here.
Holy crap. So we can unpack a ton of this, right? Like, and this is why you and I hit it off so well. It's like the accounting profession is there. You're there to help the business owner, and the business owner thinks that the accountant is there to help them, but really they're not. The accountants are there to be compliance donkeys for the government and to put numbers in. We call it putting numbers in boxes, right? So you have this accountant, and every year, like the joke is, why did the accountant cross the road?
That's what they did last year.
Because that's what they did last year, right? And so here's a national firm has a gold mine of an opportunity to actually help their client base show business owners how to make more money with the incredible thinking and the tools that you've created, which we're going to get to, which is why I didn't want to run right to the end of the story here. But they said no. And they not only did that, they ground you on your partnership allocation because you weren't putting enough numbers in boxes and just being a compliance donkey for the government. Okay. I want that to sink into all the listeners. Okay. Accountants are putting numbers in boxes and being compliance donkeys for the government instead of actually helping you grow your business and your life. That's another reason why I joined MBA, is because this was the vision that they saw, they believed in it. And so it's about helping business owners. And that's why I'm so excited about this podcast and especially Profit Advisory, where we're going to go. So anyways, let's come back down. So then you wrote the book. So then you left the partnership. I love that.
Yep. Yes.
Then you went out and then you started this and you wrote this book, and this incredible book. Like, for those who are listening, you can't see it. I'm holding it up. If you want to watch, you can see this video on our website or on our YouTube channel, but it's Found Money. And this book had a couple spots in it. And I just wanted to go to one of them where I read this book and I started reading and my jaw dropped. And like literally the next sentence in the book was, and by now your jaw's probably dropped. Right. And it was like, and I was like, where I was reading about the fact that a business can have a profitable service or product, but if the company actually expands it, it will put the company bankrupt. Like, holy shit. Tell me more about it. It's a mind blower. Like literally my jaw was open. I was like, what? And it's like, I couldn't believe it. So I'm like, wow. So like, this is the thing. Maybe we'll get back to that one later. We'll get to that specific one later. But here's the thing. You found it. You started looking at companies and saying, there's more I can do for them. There's more I can do. And you started going into what you call business intelligence. And so explain to the listeners a little bit more about what is meant by business intelligence, which gives you the information that leads you to the jaw-dropping moment that, hey, by the way, a profitable service or product line that you have can actually bankrupt your company. So tell me more about business intelligence. I want to hear more about that.
Sure. So, I'll tell you a bit of a backstory, and then I'll tell you a bit about my view on business intelligence, how I came into it. So when the book first came out, business owners and CEOs, they would email me and say, I love what's in your book. It's game changing. It could change my life. I need what's in in fact, my very first client ever in the UK emailed me and almost verbatim said, I need what's in your book in my company. I don't know how to do it. Will you help me? And so I actually went and consulted with him for 10 days over in the UK. And what I told him is, look, he said, I don't have the information. I'm like, trust me, you do. The trick is only some of it's in your accounting system. He had a life insurance brokerage at the time, this client. Mm-hmm. So some of it's in your accounting system, some of it's in your sales lead management system, some of it's in how you're tracking your clients and tracking renewals. And in his case, when a renewal and insurance renewal is up, or all those different pieces. And in his case, what the commissions are on with different brokerages and that type of thing. And so what I said is, look, you need to pull data from all these places to get the holistic view of what's actually going on in your business and how you can grow profitably and how you can find new profit. And so that's sort of that was the birth of my view of business intelligence. It's companies have all this data in all these different places, and it's never just one place, despite what the software vendors will tell you. And it's not the business owner's fault, because every software vendor out there wants you to believe the answer is just buying one more tool, always their tool.
Which makes you a tool. It makes you a tool, doesn't it? It completely does, because the reality is,
owning a business when it comes to different software tools is like a toolbox to a carpenter. Right? You have a tool for specific purposes. What business intelligence does is takes all that data, pulls it together and says, okay, now looking at that, here's the whole view of your business. And very few business owners have the luxury of seeing that. But when they do, when they have that business intelligence, it is literally like a cloud lifting off or fog lifting from in front of their vehicle. They suddenly see things that have been there all along and they just didn't see them. And they're like, oh my God.
Jaw dropper.
Yeah, jaw dropper. Exactly.
Yeah. So I just had this visualization. Well, there's a couple things. The first one is, no wonder the accounting firm, that especially the national firm, didn't get it, because you were talking about things that weren't just financial statements. Like they can, that's like the account, again, putting numbers in boxes. You're talking about taking data from all the different areas of the company and putting it into a customized dashboard so that you can look at it and say, here's what's actually causing your profit to go up and down. Right.
Right. But it wasn't the firm's fault. Really. And when you think about it, that actually scares the heck out of the accounting firm, because pulling data from different areas, if you're a traditional compliance-driven accounting firm, is scary as hell, because you might actually find some things that indicate that actually the accounting system might not be 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Like it is from a financial perspective. Like, it's like, I don't want to know that. I don't want to turn over that rock because I don't want to know what's under it.
Shooting yourself in the foot type thing.
Yeah.
But so here's the interesting thing. The second thing I just kind of want to highlight is, and I've never thought about this before until just like literally just now. And you and I've talked a lot. Okay.
Yes.
Is that It's kind of like all the different systems in your body. So think of the human body. I've got my heart, I got my lungs, I got the circulation system, I've got the muscles in my toes and all the rest of that. And they're all independent systems. So there's all these independent systems going in your business. And the only thing that actually pulls it all together is the brain. The brain is actually pulling all those systems together. And the brain then goes, okay, we're going to allocate resources here to here to here. Oh, geez, there's something wrong. We got to put more to the spleen, less to the liver, more to the heart. And the brain is actually controlling this. So it's almost like that's why it's business intelligence is what you do is the brain. It's the brain of the business that is missing because the business is running. Right. There's all the systems are running, but there's no brain.
Right. Yeah. That's a great illumination. That's exactly what it is. That's brilliant.
That's hilarious, dude.
That sentence nails it. It's like, what are you guys doing? It's like we create like the brain for your business.
Brain for your business, so you can see it. And here's the wonderful thing about this. So then you had this business, and then you went out and then you started applying it to one-on-one to businesses. Okay, and then all of a sudden one day you came across a guy named Erik Solbakken. All right.
Yes.
And you saw my name, and for the listeners out there who don't know, I have a consulting company called the Accountant Success Formula. So I go in and show accounting firms how to update their business model so they can free themselves and their clients from this, what I call an oppressive model, which is changing the billing hours and focusing on helping the clients grow their life. And when I worked with MBA, they were like, this is amazing. We want to actually bring this nationwide. We want to expand our business. We really want to take Erik. Will you join us? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm in. I'll do that for sure. So I'm part of the MBA Way team. I own half of the company right now. And we're going to grow this. But you found out about me about the Accountant Success Formula. And so you contacted me and said, hey, I got to meet this guy. So we started talking, right?
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it was like this epiphany when you were talking about business intelligence and how this could come out and how accounting firms could really use this powerful tool. And then I coupled it with the Accountant Success Formula. And I said, wait a second, we could really put this two together. And that was the creation when you and I worked together to create what we call now the Profit Advisory Formula, right?
Yes.
And because most business owners don't understand what business intelligence is until, of course, maybe they will now that I came to that analogy about the brain. Like that makes so much more sense now. Maybe we're going to have to change the name. Actually, no, I'm just kidding. Profit Advisory Formula. So we went out to the accounting firms to say, okay, here's this great service. It's profit advisory. You can give this to your clients. But then here's the funny part. We brought it to all the accounting firms again. And again, they acted just like the national firm. They're like, oh, no, we don't really want to do it. Except for MBA. Because, by the way, I'm part owner. So therefore, and so I've had the conversation and with Peter, and he's like, oh, man, we got to do this for sure. So now this is service now is not one that accounting firms are offering. And we're able to do that. And so what we've done is we've taken your brilliant mind on the business intelligence and the MBA way of approaching business owners and help them grow their business and their life and going, this is then the business pillar, like the 4 planning pillars that we talk about. I won't go into the details on that. We can do that in another podcast, but it's about the business pillars. Like, how can we increase their profitability? How can we help clients increase their profitability? And poof, you and I meet each other. And I'm like, holy shit, here we go. Let's make this happen. So this wonderful way of taking profit advisory, which is business intelligence, which is the way you look at things, which is taking all the different systems, pulling it together, analyzing the data, but then creating that customized dashboard. So if you get to, and which again, I'm analogy to the brain actually spitting out a dashboard that the client can look at. So let's talk to the listeners a little bit more about that. Like how you analyze, you take all the data, analyze it, and then create that dashboard.
Yeah. I mean, it's so powerful when it happens because at the end of the day, any business is the product of any financial result, any profit, any or loss, profit increase, anything is a result of your customers, your products and services, your operations, and your people. That's it. the key, and if you have those four building blocks, you can literally drive your business forward to whatever profit you want it to grow to. The trick is, until you analyze all the data sources you need, the business owner doesn't get a view of all those. So that's what we do with the dashboard is we go in and we work with the business owner and say, look, here's what's going on in your company. Here's what's going on from a customer perspective, from your products and services. Quite often, for example, what the business owner, and you know this firsthand from when we've done with other clients, when we first start working with the client, the customers they tell us are their best often aren't when when we pull all the data in. And it's almost funny. In fact, often when we're talking to a new client, we'll preface it and we'll say, look, the first month or two we're working together, you're going to really have a hard time hearing some of the stuff you're going to hear because you're not going to believe it because you haven't seen it like this before. And inevitably the business owner will be, well, no, that can't be right. That's my best customer. Yeah. Well, define best. Highest revenue is not best from a profitability perspective. Or, what's the growth opportunity in a customer? Your best customer who has no opportunity to grow because they're buying everything possible from you has no growth upside. You're a hostage to their growth versus a customer who's only maybe a quarter of that revenue, but can buy 4 or 5 other of your product lines, has a huge upside. Yeah. There's profit opportunity there. And that's what we do in that dashboard is we show you with big flashing lights saying, look, focus on these 2 or 3 things for the next month. Do them.
Right.
It's very prescriptive and it's your data. And then you do those things and then you see the result in the dashboard. Did it work? Yes or no? Is it working? Yes or no?
Yeah. And so, and we're kind of jumping to that next part and we'll talk to we'll explain it to the listeners here on what the process is and that last piece. But sure. Let's come back to one of my jaw-dropping moments because you just talked about that. You said you think your best client is your best client, and again, the jaw dropper that I read in the book, it was so funny. Yes. Like my mouth was literally going and then the next line in the book was, and this is where your jaw drops. And I just started out. Yes. Remember, I took a picture and I sent it to you. I texted you a picture of me with my jaw dropped and going, oh, what the hell? Your top client, even you said. Top revenue client isn't your best one. Even your top marginal service or product can't be the one. So this is the one that just blew my mind. And dude, I've been in public practice for coming up 35 years. Okay. And I read that and I was like, holy suffering. So you have a product or service that gives you a great gross margin.
Yes.
But can bankrupt your company.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
And that's the jaw dropper right there.
And it is a jaw dropper. And what happens is business owners will intuitively, correct from an intuitive perspective, say, here's my most profitable product. I'm going to go sell it. Highest gross profit, highest gross margin. I'm going to chase that horse. What they also have to consider is what's the impact on working capital. For example, if a certain product is profitable, but it chews through or costs a lot of cash, service costs, your team to support it, marketing costs, you're carrying receivables, you're carrying inventory to sell that product, it really makes it unprofitable. And I give you a real life example. So about 6 years ago, I was presenting to a group of business owners, women business owners, and one of the CEOs, her and her husband owned a retail chain in Canada, and a retail chain. And she loved the presentation, bought the book, loved the book. I went in and talked to her and her husband. They said, hey, come talk to us about this book. And they did exactly that. They weren't the example of the book because the book was out, but they proudly showed me how they had picked some of their suppliers who had the most profitable product lines, and they were going to run with those. And I said, well, let's just hold on a second here. Let me drill into it. They said, no, we've got this figured out. We don't need your consulting, blah, blah, blah. And like, fair enough. I convinced them to drill it. I said, just give me a little bit of data. Drilled into it. And I said, you're going to have a train wreck if you do this. They're like, no, we're not. Did this. And because what happened is that most profitable supplier, this was retail, and it was a type of clothing. So they had to order often 6 months ahead of time for the season. Mm-hmm. And so the most profitable supplier, they had the most gross margin on, was requiring them to make the largest bulk buys and the longest lead time. Instead of 6 months, they had to order 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
So if you map that out across 8 retail stores, that's a huge amount of extra cash tied up in inventory to get that higher profit.
Right.
And so I said to them, look, you got good profit there, but you are going to run out of cash. No, we don't believe you. We're smarter than you. I mean, it's all good. 2 years ago, went into receivership. Company got bought out for a few cents on the dollar, exactly as I predicted 6 years ago. And it still haunts me to this day because, and Erik and I often talk about, how accountants by nature aren't good at selling. I mean, I failed that client because I didn't convince him to listen to me. I saw it and I showed them, and I'm like, you literally are going to blow 200 people out of the water who are your employees plus a family business, second generation business. Yeah. You guys are going to run. And I failed them because I couldn't convince them to listen to me.
Well, it's not your fault at all, Steve. Like, I mean, let's go back to that brain analogy. So when you think about this, you need to have the brain seeing the whole picture, the whole body, to be able to maneuver and push all the resources to the right spots. The clients that you were talking to had a fragmented view of their business. They didn't see the whole picture, right? And that's what I've said this about accounting firms as well. It's like, how in the world can an accountant give any advice unless they understand what the client's business, wealth, retirement, and estate plans are? Like, you just can't, because they don't see the whole thing. So the customer, the client didn't see that. The business owner didn't see all the pieces because they didn't have the business intelligence. The brain wasn't connected to all of the different areas. And this is the wonderful thing. Like, when you and I first met, and then it kind of took off like gangbusters. First of all, because we're both kind of
both metalheads.
We're both quote unquote recovered accountants, shall we say? We've recovered from the traditional firm model, two in different ways. Yes, and we're both heavy metal, the metalheads. And the third one is that we see that there's this incredible opportunity to actually help business owners so much more. And so when we talked about this business intelligence and how this would all work, I said, I see this as a very simple process. And what you and I work through is, it's really simple. For any of those listeners out there, and they're interested in this, please, reach out to us at MBA CPA and, have a conversation with us, and I can explain this to you, but it's really simple. That was almost going to be a really good blooper. That was going to be a hell of a blooper right there.
Good save.
Thank you very much. First of all, we analyze the data. Number two, we create a customized dashboard for your business. So in other words, we create a customized brain for your business depending on what all the systems are, right? And this is all the different data sets we're talking about. And then number three, and here's where the magic happens, is that every month we provide you, the business owner, with a simple red, yellow, and green dashboard that says red, yellow, green means red, this is bad, you got to do something. Yellow, this is an opportunity. Green, this is all good. What we give you is actionable profitability steps. So steps to increase your profitability. Either watch out, this is going to be one of those high margins, going to sewer your company issues, which is red. Yellow, which is this is an opportunity. Or green, that says, hey, keep doing this. It's the one that's driving your profitability. And it's really that simple. And then every month you then take that information, you go and implement it, and then we repeat the cycle every month. So there's a feedback loop. And then at the beginning of every month or the end of every month, you get the data. Steve analyzes the data, puts it into the dashboard, creates another set of profitability action steps. We sit down with the business owner, tell them what needs to happen next. Boom. And it's just repeat after repeat. And the best part about this is actual ROI for the business owner. This is actual return on investment. So what the price that you pay for the service is an ROI. And we're always looking at least a 3 times or to 10 times multiple. So it's like, would you invest 10 grand to make 30 grand? Or would you invest $100 grand to make $1 million? All day long, right? Which is which is what business owners want. They want a return on their investment. And so that's the simple model. And it's just, one of the things that I sent you, Steve, before we started this podcast was like, what's the question that we want to leave the listener? Like, what do we want them to think about, right? As a result of this. And for me, it's always about their life. Because really, people say, oh, you have a work-life balance. Well, I think that's bullshit, because your business is your life. It's part of who you are. You're a you're a father, you're a business owner, you're a husband, you're I'm talking to you, Steve, like that,
Yes.
I know that's who you are. It's all part of your life. But how would your life change if you could increase your company's profit? Right?
It's an amazing question because again, and every owner should ask that. And I mean, it ripples out from there because you think of any business owner, anyone listening to our podcast, how can their life be better if the business created more profit? That improves their life. It then improves a business owner who has more profit because, again, it's the problem that solves all problems. That's what we do in profit advisory formula.
Yeah.
So if you have more profit, you can solve a lot of other problems. Guess what? Now you're more relaxed as a business leader because you're less worried about making payroll because you already have that covered. You're also more relaxed at home because you're not thinking, oh my gosh, I hope that person pays me tomorrow because payroll is due 2 days. And so you become a better business leader, a better parent, a better spouse, a better community leader. I now have time to participate in a nonprofit or a church or contribute to whatever. So these ripples go out all from increasing the profit of a company. It's quite transformational when you think about it.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you and I have thought about it a lot, which is why we've talked about this. It's like you make more profit, you could try a new service line, you could invest it here, you could put it there. But here's the best part. And this for me is why I'm so passionate about business owners. And that's why MBA, we believe that business owners are the most important people on the planet because they're the ones that create all the value, create everything you look at around this. Everything here in my room was created by a business. A hospital was created by a business. The money to pay for the doctors was created by a business with tax revenue, which went to the government for the government to pay it. Everything in society starts with a business owner. So anything we can do to help support that is it's the most important thing we could possibly do, but it's your business. And that's the beautiful thing about it. It's like, if you made more money in your business, how would that change your life? You get to decide. It's the freedom that they get to decide. Like, I'll take that money and I'll give it to charity, or I'll take that money and I'll grow the business, or I'll take the money and I'll pass it down to the next generation, or I'll take that money and I'll go on a big trip with the family, or I'll increase the salaries of my staff. It's totally up to you, and they get the freedom to do that. And unfortunately, the people that person that you talked to at that presentation event, she never got that. They never got that opportunity. Their company went bankrupt because they didn't have the dashboard. They didn't.
And along with that, 200 people lost jobs.
And 200 people lost jobs, and there was a big chunk in the economy. I mean, they never got the opportunity for that, and so that's why. Dude, I'm so excited about this. I'm really looking forward to bringing this out. The MBA Way clients that we have for that. And be able to help them make more money. And then that becomes just one of the parts of their overall picture, which you and I have talked about lots of time, the 4 planning pills. Okay, once you have more profit in the business, then that ties into how you're going to grow the wealth for you and your family. And then how that wealth is built tells you how you can retire if and when you want to retire. And then from there, what your estate is and how you're going to leave it to your kids. So it's that full 360 picture of your life, but it starts with profit and your business, and it has to make profit. And so that's why I just love what you did, dude. And I love the fact that I'm glad that the accounting firm, the big local, the national firm had rectal cranial inversion. Okay.
Yes.
Just for those of your listeners and you really want to understand, to send me an email. I'll explain exactly what that means. But rectal cranial inversion, and didn't see the vision of found money, which you did here.
Yes.
And I'm so glad that you reached out to me, and then we connected, and now we're going to be able to offer this to all the MBA Way business clients.
Yes. Yeah. It turned out to be a great thing, the rectocranial issue that the firm had, because, it made the book happen. It brought us together. It made us able to offer this to all the MBA clients and to the profit advisory formula.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Well, you know what? We are going to probably have a lot more podcasts in the future. So this is not a one and done with Steve. We'll bring Steve back on. I want to bring you back on the podcast, of course, because
absolutely.
The whole idea here is to bring more resources and understanding and Yeah, it's about the resources. It's like business owners also, I find it's cutting through the noise. I think this is the last thing that kind of ties in with profit advisory. There's 4,000 gurus out there telling you how to buy theirs, or like you said with the SaaS companies, the software companies, buy my software and it'll fix this. Buy this, it'll fix it. There's 4,000 gurus out there telling you how to fix your business and what to do, and then use their special magic pill. But really, what if you just could see your business fully, like your brain sees your body, so that your brain operates this incredibly complex machinery with thousands of millions of billions of synapses just firing all the time. Well, your business is running all over the place. Imagine if you had that clarity to see what actually drives the profitability, right?
Yeah.
That's that simplicity, and that's that knowledge of your business. Not, here, buy my special product or service.
Right.
Here, why don't we give you something that's going to give you insight into what's your business is, how it's working, so that you can make changes to it.
Right? That's a critical piece. Like seeing your business fully. I love the words you used. And again, I love that brain body analogy, because just as everybody is similar, everybody is not the same. And so every business, a business is really like an organism, right? So seeing a business fully, it's different for every business. There's similarities, there's patterns, there's sort of the business physics, just like there's the biology and anatomy of our bodies, but our bodies all work differently.
Yeah, everybody's different. Everybody's different, right? Yeah. So it was interesting because that just tied in. I was talking to my wife just before I came on the podcast, and she was listening to another guru in the body space, and he was saying, everybody's telling you how to eat and all the rest of that, but why don't you just listen to your body? See what your body does and how it reacts to the food, because what I eat may affect me negatively, but Steve, it may be okay for you. It's the same thing with the business. I love how you came up with that. It's like, now every business is different. Business is the same. It's trying to create value for people, and people then exchange for that value they receive. They then pay a price, right? The value and the price need to align, and it's an exchange. Past that, they're so different. And your business is your business. But what if you could actually see more of the holistic part of it, so that you can actually get it to make more money, more profit, and then you have that freedom. So
yeah, super powerful. Love it.
I think that's a mic drop right there, man. I think
that's a mic drop. Bang.
Okay, there you go. Well, there you go, Steve. We'll have you on the next podcast. And for those listeners out there, if you're a business owner or a CPA that believes that the accounting profession should give you back more than you have been receiving in the past, reach out to us at MBA. We'd love to have a conversation with you. And again, for those clients that are at MBA, give us a little ring, just send us an email, and let's have a conversation. Steve and I would love to see you and have a conversation about how business and how profit advisory can free you up to give you what you want in your life.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Erik. And thanks for having the vision when we first met. Yeah.
Well, hey man, it takes two to tango. We did it.
It does.
No, that's not tango. We should do this with the heavy metal version. We'll do that next one. The next podcast, we'll maybe play some heavy metal music at the end. How's that?
Love it.
Okay, man. Thanks a lot, Steve. See ya.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks, Erik.
If you're a business owner or CPA who believes the accounting profession has let you down, then please reach out to us at www.mbacpa.ca so we can have a chat to see if we're a fit to work together. We're always looking forward to talking to you. See you next time.